Chaos. Not just arguments. Not just whispers. Real chaos. The kind that tears families apart from the inside, the kind that starts with one word, and ends with betrayal. Tonight, we are stepping inside the Harris household, a place that once glowed with laughter, love, and loyalty, until it became a war zone no one saw coming. Because when Mendeecees Harris walked through that front door, he did not find peace. He found absence. His wife was gone. His mother stood in her place, unshaken. And the walls that once protected this family? They were cracking, under years of unspoken resentment finally exploding into something no one could control. Yandy Smith Harris, a woman millions admired for her strength, her loyalty, her endurance through her husband's prison years, was kicked out of her own home. Not metaphorically. Not emotionally. Physically kicked out. By Mendeecees' own mother, Judy. Let that sink in. A mother-in-law did not just disapprove, she declared war. This was not a misunderstanding. This was a message. Social media went into meltdown. Fans could not believe it, the same family that once stood united on reality TV now crumbling in real life. This cannot be real, one fan wrote. She built that home. How could his mother do this? But it was real. And when Mendeecees found out, the man known for his calm, his composure, snapped. What followed was not just a fight. It was a collision of generations. Blood versus love. Control versus respect. The truth is, this explosion did not come out of nowhere. It was brewing. Quietly. Painfully. For years. Judy had always seen herself as the protector, the one who raised her son, the one who knew what was best for him. And Yandy? She was the fighter, the builder, the woman who held it all together when Mendeecees was behind bars. Two powerful women, both convinced they knew what family really meant. But this home was too small for two queens. And when Judy came to help with the kids, it looked innocent. Sweet, even. But anyone who has ever lived through family tension knows, sometimes the biggest wars are fought behind polite smiles. The moment Judy stepped in, the energy changed. Small things became symbolic battles. Who sits where at dinner? Who decides what the children eat? Who holds authority under that roof? And each time, Yandy swallowed her pride. She smiled when she wanted to scream. Because keeping the peace was her last defense. But Judy kept pushing. Every day, one more comment, one more jab. I have been here since before you. This is my son's house. Those words might sound harmless. But to Yandy, they were daggers, reopening every old wound she had buried. Then, came the day when everything exploded. A simple argument, maybe about household chores, maybe about control, no one remembers the exact spark. But everyone remembers the fire. Voices rose. Accusations flew like bullets. Judy's patience ran out. Yandy's pride refused to bow. And then, that one sentence that changed everything. You do not run this house, Yandy. I do. This is my son's home, not yours. If you cannot respect that, you can leave. Silence. Then heartbreak. The kind that burns more than words ever could. Judy stood there, arms crossed, face cold and final, like a judge delivering a life sentence. And Yandy? She froze. Because for the first time in her own home, she realized she had no power. For a second, she thought Judy was bluffing. That this was just another shouting match. But the look in Judy's eyes told her, this time, it was real. No hesitation. No regret. Just dominance. Yandy felt her chest tighten, her hands trembling as she packed her bags. Every photo frame, every corner of that house, whispered memories of love, now turned into ghosts. She wanted to fight, to scream, to claim what she built. But she knew, this was not her battlefield. Not tonight. She walked away, blinking back tears, suitcase in hand. The same woman who had stood by her husband through courtrooms, prison walls, and public humiliation, now walking out of her own home, alone. The house that once echoed with laughter was silent now. But not peaceful. It was that eerie silence, the kind that lingers after a bomb has gone off. And somewhere between heartbreak and pride, Yandy realized, this was not just about family anymore. This was about power. And someone had just drawn a line in the sand. The clothes, the shoes, the argument, none of that really mattered. What broke Yandy Smith Harris that night was not fabric or furniture, it was principle. It was the moment she realized she had been told to leave a home she helped build with her own hands, her own tears, her own love. As she zipped up her suitcase, her hands shook, not from fear, but from rage. Rage mixed with heartbreak, a dangerous cocktail that only betrayal can brew. Every memory flashed before her eyes, the nights she stayed up waiting for Mendeecees' phone calls from prison, the birthdays she celebrated. Alone so her children would not feel his absence, the loyalty she gave without question. And in a single command, Judy, the woman she had tried so hard to respect, stripped all of that away. When Yandy stepped out of that house, she did not say a word. But silence sometimes screams louder than anger. The quiet between them was not peace, it was a wound, fresh and deep. Inside, Judy sat calmly on the couch, her arms folded, her expression unreadable. Her energy? Cold. Controlled. To her, this was not cruelty. It was boundaries. She truly believed Yandy had overstepped, that she had forgotten who had raised Mendeecees, who had held this family together long before cameras, fame, or marriage entered the picture. She acts like she built this family, Judy muttered under her breath, words that would soon echo beyond the walls of that home, spreading like wildfire across social media. This family existed before her, and it will exist after her. But Judy was wrong about one thing. This was no longer about existence. This was about war. By the time the door closed behind her, the tension was not just between two women anymore. It had become something far deeper, a fracture that cut through the family itself. Inside, Judy hummed in the kitchen, scrolling through her phone, pretending nothing had happened. But even the children could feel it, that eerie heaviness in the air, that invisible line no one dared to cross. Something had broken, something sacred. Meanwhile, outside, Yandy sat alone in her car, staring at the steering wheel, her breath shaky. She was not just angry. She was humiliated. Betrayed. She had fought for this family when no one else did. When Mendeecees was behind bars, she had carried his legacy on her shoulders, kept the family name alive, raised the children, and faced the world's judgment head-on. And now, she was being treated like a stranger. Her mind raced. She wanted to call Mendeecees, to pour out every ounce of pain, to make him see what his mother had done. But she also knew, once she made that call, there would be no going back. Because when a man is forced to choose between his wife and his mother, no one walks away clean. That night, as the sun sank behind the house, two women stood on opposite sides of a silent war, one inside, one outside, both convinced they were right. Both ready for the storm that was about to come. And neither of them realized? Mendeecees was already on his way home. When he walked through that front door, the air felt heavier than ever. It was quiet, but not peaceful. Something was wrong. The house looked the same, but it felt different. Toys scattered across the floor. The smell of dinner lingering. But the warmth, gone. It took him less than a minute to feel it. That suffocating tension that clings to walls after a fight. And then it hit him, his wife was not there. What happened? His voice carried sharpness. Judy hesitated. I could not take her disrespect anymore, she said, folding her arms again. That was it. The breaking point. Mendeecees' voice trembled, not from confusion, but from controlled fury. Do not do that, Ma. Do not act like she controls me. You raised me to be a man, a grown man, and that means I make my own choices. You kicked my wife out. The same woman who stood by me when I was locked up. The same woman who took care of your grandchildren when the world turned its back on us. You owe her respect, even if you do not like her. Judy's lips quivered for a split second before her pride pulled them back into a frown. I was protecting my peace, she muttered. I cannot live under the same roof as someone who treats me like I am invisible. And before Mendeecees could respond, the front door creaked open. Every heartbeat seemed to stop. Both of them turned. And there she was. Yandy. Standing in the doorway, suitcase in hand, eyes red but steady. Her presence sucked the air out of the room. I just came to get the rest of my things, she said, her tone calm but razor-sharp. Mendeecees stepped forward, relief and frustration colliding in his chest. Yandy, wait, but she lifted a hand, stopping him mid-sentence. No. Let me finish. I am not staying where I am not wanted. Her eyes locked onto Judy. You did not have to like me, but you did not have to humiliate me either. Judy rose from the couch, her voice rising. You have been disrespectful since day one. Acting like you were better than everyone else. Like this family owes you something. I have seen women like you come and go. Yandy's jaw tightened, but her voice never cracked. Women like me? You mean the ones who stand by your son when no one else will? The ones who visit him every single week in prison when the world has already forgotten his name? The ones who raise his children, hold down the house, and build something out of chaos? Yes, you have seen women like me, because I am the one doing the work you keep taking credit for. The room exploded. Voices overlapped. The tension became unbearable. Enough! Mendeecees roared, stepping between them, his voice echoing like thunder through the living room. Enough, both of you. This is ridiculous. Silence. Heavy. Cold. He turned to his mother first. Ma, you do not get to make decisions about my marriage. You just do not. I love you, but you went too far. Then he looked at Yandy. His tone softened, exhausted. And you, stop letting every word she says get under your skin. You are giving her the power to control your peace. I cannot keep living like this. I just want peace. Yandy's eyes filled with tears. I did not ask for a war, Mendeecees. I only asked to be treated like family. He sighed, running a hand over his face. And I just want peace. But right now, this house feels like a battlefield. And then Judy muttered under her breath, barely audible, but loud enough to pierce through them all. It is her or me. The words hung in the air like a curse. And in that moment, everyone knew, nothing would ever be the same again. Did you really just say that? Those 6 words sliced through the Harris household like a blade. Judy did not flinch. Not even a blink. You heard me, she said, her voice cold enough to freeze the air. I will not live under the same roof as her. And in that moment, Mendeecees Harris, the man who had faced prison cells, courtrooms, and cameras, felt something break deep inside him. He looked between the 2 women who defined his life, his mother and his wife, and realized, for the first time, there were no right answers left. He took a breath. Then maybe nobody lives here, he said quietly. Because I cannot keep choosing between the 2 of you. The silence that followed was deafening. The kind of silence that ends chapters. Judy's face went pale, Yandy's breath caught, and for once, neither of them had a comeback. Then, without another word, Mendeecees turned, walked toward the door, and stepped outside. Behind him, the house stood heavy with the echo of everything that had just shattered. Judy finally sank into the couch, tears welling but pride refusing to let them fall. Her chest rose and fell with quiet fury, not at her son, but at the situation she had created and could no longer control. Across the room, the ghost of Yandy's presence still lingered, the energy of confrontation, the heaviness of unspoken words. And Judy, even as she sat alone, knew deep down this was not about a single argument. It was about years of buried resentment, all clawing their way to the surface. Because once a mother and a wife go to war, forgiveness itself becomes the battlefield. Outside, Mendeecees sat alone in his car, engine off, hands gripping the steering wheel. The world outside was quiet, but his mind was chaos. He had been through dark days, prison time, public judgment, financial strain, but this? This was a different kind of punishment. To be torn between the 2 women who built his world in different ways was a pain no man prepares for. His mother gave him life. His wife gave him purpose. And now both wanted him to choose. Inside, Judy stared at the television, the screen flickering with silent light. The show played, but she was not watching. Her pride, once her armor, was now her prison. For the first time, doubt crept in. Had she gone too far? She told herself she was protecting her place in the family, reminding everyone that she mattered. But as her son's words replayed, "You crossed a line, Ma," she felt the sting of her own choices. Her declaration, "It is her or me," echoed in her mind like a warning she could not undo. Across the city, Yandy sat in the passenger seat of her friend's car, phone clutched tightly in her hands. For hours, she had stayed composed, refusing to give Judy the satisfaction of seeing her break. But now, away from the house, away from the battlefield, the dam finally burst. Tears streamed down her face. "This is not fair," she whispered, her voice trembling. "After everything I have done for that family," her friend squeezed her hand, silently. "Because words would not fix this. Nothing could, not tonight." Yandy stared at her phone, half expecting it to light up with his name, a text, a call, something. But there was nothing. And that silence? It hurt more than Judy's words ever could. Because no matter how angry she was, she had hoped Mendeecees would show up, hold her, and say, "We will face this together." Instead, everyone was alone, each of them trapped in their own corner, nursing wounds that pride refused to heal. Back at the house, the clock ticked past midnight when Mendeecees finally walked in. Judy stood immediately, relief flickering in her eyes. "Son," she began, her voice suddenly softer, "I just did what I had to do." "Ma, stop," he interrupted sharply. His tone was low, controlled, but burning. "Do not do that. Do not act like this was about protecting me or some house. This was about control. You wanted to remind Yandy that you still hold power. But what you did," he paused, his eyes narrowing, "you hurt both of us." Judy opened her mouth to respond, but he did not let her. "You crossed a line," he said. "You disrespected my wife, and when you disrespect her, you disrespect me." Those words hit like a slap. Her pride shattered. She had expected anger, but not this quiet disappointment that made her heart twist. "I am your mother," she whispered. "And she is my wife," he shot back instantly. "The woman who held it down when I was not here. The woman who raised my kids like they were her own. You think you are protecting your place in my life, but what you are doing is pushing me away." Judy turned her face, blinking fast, trying to stop the tears that threatened to fall. Yandy's phone buzzed. Her heart skipped. It was him. "Mendeecees, we need to talk. Just us." She stared at the screen for a long time, torn between exhaustion and hope. Then finally typed back, "Okay. One conversation. But I am not walking back into that house like nothing happened." "Him, I would not ask you to." They met that afternoon. The tension was heavy, but beneath it, love still flickered, fragile but real. He reached for her hand. She hesitated, then let him. "I am sorry," he said softly. "I should have been there. I should have made it clear long ago that what happened was not acceptable." Yandy's eyes glistened. "Your mother humiliated me, Mendeecees. She made me feel like a stranger in my own home. I cannot just unfeel that." "I know," he whispered. "And I am not asking you to. I am asking you to let me fix it." She took a deep breath. "Then it cannot just be you and me this time. It has to be all of us, you, me, and her. Because if something does not change, I cannot keep living like this." He nodded slowly. "Then that is what we will do. But Ma has to understand, my wife comes first. Period." For the first time, Yandy's walls cracked just a little. Her lip trembled as she whispered, "Then maybe we still have a chance." It was not a solution. Not yet. But it was a start. The following week felt like walking on glass. No shouting. No chaos. Just a silence so thick it clung to the walls. Mendeecees had convinced Yandy to return, not to stay, but for one last conversation. A final attempt at peace. When her car pulled into the driveway, her heart pounded. Every memory of that house, the laughter, the late nights, the reunions, came flooding back. It was more than a home. It was history. But now, it felt like enemy territory. Inside, Judy sat waiting. Hands clasped. Eyes darting toward the door. And Mendeecees, pacing like a man trying to contain a storm. Then the door opened. Yandy stepped in, slow, steady, unflinching. She set her bag down, straightened her posture, and lifted her chin. The room went silent. No one spoke. No one moved. And for a long, unbearable moment, the only sound in that house was the weight of everything left unsaid. Judy looked at her, then away. "Thank you for coming," she said quietly. Mendeecees sat between them, his voice measured, careful, as if one wrong word could shatter the thin glass piece hanging in the air. "Let us just talk," he said, his tone even, his heart pounding. Yandy nodded but did not sit. "Yes," Judy whispered, "let us." For the first time in days, they were all under one roof again. But the air felt fragile, like one deep breath could tear it apart. Mendeecees leaned forward, eyes shifting between them. "We are not leaving this house until we figure this out," he said. "Because I am not choosing between the two people I love most. But I cannot live like this either." Yandy exhaled slowly, her voice steady but full of emotion. "Mendeecees, I am not trying to make you choose. I just want respect. I want to be treated like your wife, not like a stranger in my own home." Judy shifted in her seat. "I never said you were a stranger." "You did not have to," Yandy shot back. "Your actions said it for you. You kicked me out without even telling your son. Do you know how humiliating that was?" Judy's chin lifted, pride still clinging on, but her voice trembled. "You made me feel small, Yandy. Like I did not belong in my own son's life. You took over everything, the house,